Today kind of marks the initial start of us getting our third volt installed. We already spent some time a couple of days ago when it got delivered, breaking it down, uncrating it, kind of getting it into our facility because we also wanted to know approximately how much space we were going to need once it was all set up. For right now, we have it safely tucked underneath our car lift, just waiting for the install. The installer, I believe, is Brandon. He is going to be here starting on Monday, possibly Tuesday morning, because Monday we have a lot of stuff going on. And in the time being, we are working on getting this whole area right here all cleaned out. This is where the press is going to go. Our old press, actually, I'm sorry. Our old smaller volt is going to go over there. And our new volt is going to go where Maria's small volt was in production at. Today we have an electrician here. He is disassembling all the electrical connections and tucking those up and putting those away for when the new press gets installed. The great thing about this is that that electric that we set up for this volt is going to work exactly identically for our new larger volts because the power, we already kind of took care of all that to begin with. I'm going to kind of turn you guys around to show you what it kind of looks like with the equipment being disassembled and, well, the electricity being disassembled. And then kind of come back and show you guys as we move this press in a little bit. Alright, so the electrician is all finished. We went ahead and removed all of the connections to the two flashes and the machine itself. These drop downs are going to be used for our new volt that will be going in this location. And we are about to move all the mats and kind of clean up. And we're going to move this volt with the pallet jack over to its new location. So we're about to do that, and I'll kind of try to film it in its new place. So initially we went ahead and used the pallet jack to elevate the base of the machine just a little bit, enough to slide some pieces of wood. Therefore, we could get the pallet jack completely underneath the base. Based off the overall height of your machine, this may be different for every single company, but this is how we have to lift ours. Now that the machine is elevated up off the ground, we are going to add 2x4s as well to the top of the pallet. Therefore, not only to just extend through the whole base, but to also add that extra height to be able to have good clearance while moving the press. So we already elevated the machine with the pallet jack, and we slowly are pulling it through here. You can see that our concrete is not crazy consistent, and so the feet sometimes touch and sometimes they don't. And we're also kind of dealing with a little bit tighter parameters because our other volt is in the way. And we already know that the machine is going to be over in this vicinity. We don't know exactly the dead set location just yet, but we at least want to get it over there because we really needed this area to be clean for our new press. So again, very simply moved with a pallet jack and some pieces of wood. So based on you lifting and elevating the machine, what would you say difficulty-wise this was? Like how heavy it is?
Like one person can do this on their own by simply lifting up the foot end on this end with the lower bars. And when you do lift it, try not to lift it too far off the ground so it teeters.
So we are gonna have to rotate it because you're the front. The front needs to be kind of like over in this dryer area. Okay. Yeah, I think this is pretty good for like the general like idea and concept of where the machine will be. We do have heads up on this volt, and we will be using this small workhorse dryer in the time being. This will be our specialty only really press. Sleeves, pockets, we have the dual pockets, we have mask pallets, and so this will be more of our specialized machine, and that's why we're going to go ahead and start using like a smaller dryer in the time being. So now we're gonna go ahead and tuck the wood back under here, and we'll probably leave it stationary on the wood, so then that way if we do need to manipulate it one more time before its final resting place, we're able to do that pretty efficiently and quickly. Okay, now when it goes onto the 2x4s, it's gonna sound pretty aggressive, just like that. But rest assured, the machine is extremely durable. Nothing is array, everything looks exactly how we left it. It would be funny if I actually went to go test print something and just see, but I already know that because it's positioning on this concrete, it's gonna have to be re-leveled. We're gonna go ahead and get a power. There's no power to this machine, none whatsoever right now. There's a random 110 right there, but we're not using that for anything. We might use that for a mobile forge or for a cooling fan in the future. However, right now we are gonna have to get power ran to this machine, and that's gonna happen in 2 separate increments. The base is gonna get power on Tuesday, so then that way when the technician is here, we will be able to get the leveling handled without any issues. So now all we have left is we're gonna move probably the base of this press for the technician, and I'll try to film when the technician is here. Similar situation here, elevate just a little bit initially with the pallet jack, elevate more with the wood, and then go back in and actually get a secure stance to elevate the whole machine as a whole. Is there a particular reason why you're going from this side, or it doesn't matter? Column is on this side. Okay, so column is on this side, the weight will be on the back portion instead of the front. So we're gonna do that next. Again, one person moving the base on here with the pallet jack. We do have a little bit of off-roading terrain over here with this concrete. You can kind of see, it seems like it's gonna be a little sketchy, but we're gonna make it. It's gonna be okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get that positioned kind of where we think it's gonna go over there by the dryer. Because this machine is bigger, the base itself is not bigger, but the arms are. So we do kind of have to think about where we will position this one in comparison to our much smaller volt. The arms are about 1.5 feet longer each arm. So you have to think about that for both sides of the press, which is why we removed all of those cabinets that we had there with the storage of the ink. So same thing, we're gonna go ahead and put the wood underneath here to make it a little easier to move once the technician comes. And again, a loud noise. Again, we unloaded this off of the truck, and I'm sure it goes through worse things getting here. So in the time being, it is completely fine. This is our rough positioning right now. Once they get the first arm on the loading side, then we'll for sure know if we need to bring this out further and how far away from the dryer we'll need to be. So catch y'all on Monday or Tuesday. Today starts our 3rd volt install. Today we have Brandon as a technician, and we have Eduardo helping for lifting the arms and everything like that. We did already have that base relatively stationary where we wanted it to, but our goal right now is to get the arm that will be closest to the dryer paired with the arm that will be the furthest from the dryer installed right now, which I believe is going to be head 1 and head 6. That way we can understand and make sure that we position the press exactly where we want it to be. We don't want them to have to install more than once or level more than once or have to make adjustments after he handles that. So Eduardo, you can see, is held up the arm while he went ahead and installed it. They are using that rolly cart there. You can kind of see it's definitely a 2-person's job for this. So if you are receiving a press, it is really important to have some staff available to help with any you know, installs like this, any help, extra hands. It's basically all persons on deck. Also in the time being, we are still printing on our other volts, and we are having electric over there installed by Oscar for our smaller volt that we do have. So we're going to turn you all around because they're kind of getting this started, and we're going to kind of talk through where we decide to put that placement. Eduardo had to leave his not so cushy office job into doing an install today. He's getting his fitness on. Had to wear his comfortable shorts.
Not about to wear jeans shorts?
Nah. Even yesterday he was like, oh no, I'm gonna wear my comfy shorts. And I was like, be prepared. Okay, so this was our original placement where we thought that maybe approximately this is where the machine's gonna go. Eduardo's grabbing the pallet jack, so then that way we can go ahead and move the press back. Because we do have that extra space up against the wall, we really like the position where the load and unload is going to be at, which would be right here, and you can see the dryer's right here. So we're just gonna go ahead and move this, the whole press as a whole, back about maybe about 2 feet, so then that way we're able to get the screen in here more comfortably because head 1 is the most used press.
This is what you're saying.
See, this is why I left the wood. This is why we left the wood. So now you can see we're gonna have to jack it up with the jack, and you could probably jack it up with the edges of the pallet jack, slip the wood back under there. All right, temporary hold. Be right back. All right, so it's 11 a.m. now, a few minutes after 11. All the arms are installed. Pretty much looks like this with the spacing from the dryer and from the wall. And then now he's going to start installing the indexer arms. So, and I don't believe he needs any help with this part. So Eduardo is pretty much free to go and go back to work and do the things he wants to do or needs to do. It's not really so much that he wants to do. We are really pretty busy. So yep, so he's gonna go ahead and get started on this. We do already have power ran, again, as mentioned, over to our smaller volt. And then today we are using this volt because this is the only one that we have running right now. We're about to begin a 2-color front, 2-color back job. On this job, we are just using, oh, this is our first time printing on these Shaka shirts. So that's kind of cool. These are those 90s vibe, big, oversized, boxy tees. We are printing these for like a, I believe it's like a bodybuilding contest or like a competition. So excuse my language if I'm completely out of context, but I think it's really cool. I know there's different things involved in regarding to that bodybuilding stuff that they're doing. On here, we are running our double squeegee. Our white stuff is absolutely always a mess because it is the most that we use. Literally, for some reason, I feel like the past year or two, everything we print is white ink anymore. We always use our ELTS white ink. We love them, we love them, we love them. It is from One Stroke. So here she is using that double squeegee, and then we're also using, and she's gonna flash, and then we go all the way around over here. We're also using our double squeegee as well on the blue, and you can already see that much cleaner than the white. So yeah, our white we leave pretty messy because it just seems wasteful to constantly have to be wiping the ink off. Especially with ink being so expensive. And over here we have our test print, exactly what the print should look like. Very cut and dry, and this is exactly how it looks. So this is with 1 pass with the double squeegee and also 1 pass with the double squeegee. Yes, we possibly could do another pass of white, but honestly, this is gonna give us a nice thin finish. It looks really great. I approve this. There's no pinholes, and we do always make our printers show us test prints with the picture just to move forward, and obviously our PO system is typically on the back. So it looks great. All right, so this is about the end of the day finish for our first day install. All the heads are up. You can kind of see some of the electronics are still out, obviously until everything is like leveled and measured and fitted. He's not going to put on all the casing and everything like that. He did go ahead and get our pallet arms up and installed. We are kind of reconsidering our placement right now, because once we have a pallet installed and knowing exactly where this squeegee and flood ratio is going to come out to, we aren't exactly sure what our measurement will be for this press. Both of our other presses, I think we use about 44 inches coming out. That way we're getting our maximum stroke. So we might have to move this, unfortunately, but we'll see once everything is kind of like said and done. But if so, we would only move it that way about 2 inches. The concrete over here is really, really stable, and everything looks, you know, super secure. I actually saw him like holding on with all of his body weight onto this earlier, and I thought that was kind of funny. But no electricity yet. Still got a lot of little nitty-gritty details to do, but at least for the most part, this went extremely efficient today. And then over here on this press, we are finishing out the day printing some drawstring bags, and for the sake of the video, I am on my last one, and I'm just gonna go ahead and you know, let it know that there's only one t-shirt left, switch over to auto. This is gonna go really pretty quickly because we're only doing one stroke. We're using like one pass of ink. We're using our low cure temp ELTS in wolf gray. Love this stuff. This is our go-to color for tags, polyester, you know, anything that's like a nice neutral gray. We're actually printing it here on these polyester nylon bags. They're just little cheap drawstring bags, and when we print these, we try to only print these with nothing else going, because we do take advantage of the low cure, and we don't want, not that one stroke inks ever bleed through, but we do not want to, you know, scorch the bag mostly. So we do go ahead and drop this temperature all the way down to 270. I'm gonna try to zoom in. You can barely see it over there. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of send this around, and you guys can kind of watch it finish out. These probably are gonna require 2 hands to take off. Yeah, I don't wanna risk it. So for the sake of the video, normally there's probably another person pulling, especially because you can kind of see how quickly this is printing. And we aren't having to like run a flash to smooth the bag or anything like that. We also do not have any glue on the pallets. And these are custom pallets that we got made at Anatol. They shipped them to us. They're super durable. They're very nice quality. I really like them. Okay, so that's it. So now if you look at the machine, it already knows that that's the one bag that I tried to pull off, and it's obviously over there in the stop facility, and you can see that the whole entire run is done. And from here, you can, obviously I'm just gonna unlock it and manually remove all the bags off of here, but you could also force it to go around, you know, off of the touch screen, but it's really your personal choice at that point. So all these turned out great. Super happy with this. So all right, cool. I got those all pulled off. Normally I tell my staff and my employees that they absolutely have to take their screens down at the end of the day, but since I'm printing, I will let them do that. And whenever everything's said and done, you simply can just, you know, turn off your machine. We also shut it off from over here, because you can actually see if you don't shut off the power all the way, the laser lights actually still stay on. Yes, you can do this and shut, or with the toggle and shut them off, but I don't know. I think just us with bad habits, we just always go to the machine and shut it off. Also, over the weekend, we worked really hard on getting the carts more prepared and organized, and so we basically have transitioned into having both of our glues and a backup screen opener on the tray, as well as in the cubby here. So then that way we don't have to worry about the printers going and stepping aside and, you know, on their way to lunch or communicating with the other employees, say, hey, they need to restock. We always keep blue rags on here for when we're using screen open. Mostly because it absorbs the screen opener really well, and it also doesn't leave any fibers or debris on the screens, and we have to worry about that getting in our print area. We have our baby wipes, we have our gloves, good old paper towels. We have a few Pale-On sheets just in case, you know, we need to cover something, like if we don't want to use tape on something, we'll sometimes use Pale-On, you know, especially bouncing back and forth into designs. Right here we kind of have these little hooks that we use for when we're printing on long sleeves and stuff, so then that way the part of the garment doesn't hang, and we simply just literally adhere these down here, and then we'll hang the long sleeve over this, and it works great, and we have no problems with that. We have the rulers, the hammer, just in case. You never know when you need a good old hammer. I'm trying to get these magnets not stuck. But yeah, and your tapes, your go-to knives, scissors, block-out pens, squeegees for when you change palette paper, some touch-up brushes. We also got this pretty cool little nifty overpriced storage for our test prints. So kind of keep a variety in there, from t-shirts to nylon to hoodies. And then now in the bottom of the carts, we're going to keep like the proactive colors. So there'll be like a silver shimmer, probably a white, probably a black. Reducers on both sides, which the reducer we do use is from One Stroke, but it cannot be used in the ELT series. So that's also, you know, something really important to take note of when you're buying reducers, what will work with which inks. We have never had to use reducer in any of our ELT inks, so we just buy it for our other PMS colors, like this bucket that is destroyed right here. So yeah, we worked on that to try to get this shop space over here a little bit more organized. Super happy with the carts. Really like how they look, and it just kind of, and obviously color book, Pantone color books. So a lot of people always ask like, what is in this weird bottle? And this is actually just Fabuloso and water, and we add that to typically, you know, the hand cleaning wipes. These are kind of like the ones we buy right now, but we're not very picky on which brand we buy. Kind of just add it for when you're cleaning your hands off, or like the rag gets dried up, you're able to use it again. Typically, just kind of depends, but it's a really great tool. So we're all set, and we're gonna be right back again tomorrow, and hopefully maybe wrapped up. And also tomorrow, turn you around. So he's gonna get this all wrapped up maybe tomorrow. I bet you it's gonna be tomorrow. I don't think he's gonna need a third day. He's working great. I like Brandon. He's super quiet, does his work. But also tomorrow we will be getting our other vault leveled. So I did go ahead and pull the pallet jack from it, and because this is where its final resting place is going to be. For right now, we are using this workhorse dryer. It'll be completely fine for what we're going to be using it for. We will only have one press operator on this press from now on, no puller or anything like that. So in the time being, this dryer will be more than sufficient. But he is going to have to level the machine, because you can see from my bare minimum body weight that the machine is super easy to move, rock back and forth, you know, like that. So he's already going to have to revisit that. The concrete's probably not the same height in every single location, but super easy fix. Moving the press as a whole was extremely easy, as previously talked about. So I'm really excited to have almost 3 presses running tomorrow. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am a little late to filming today because everyone already got started. I had to go do pickups and deliveries. So really visually not much has changed from yesterday, but we did get the machine connected to power. It's still really early today, but still really good, amazing progress. So he's finalizing that before we really get the machine up and going. And then he did also level our press today, our little volt that we had that we will be running here in a little bit. We don't have flashes at this time. That will probably be after this weekend or whatnot, but we are going to go ahead and start running one color jobs on this. So that's good. You can see can't rock it back and forth anymore. Simply just had to like level out the base, so relatively pretty simple. We're getting really backed up and behind because this was our only press functioning. So they're working as a team trying to get this going. We're also in the middle of like a hiring process, so we're trying to find good candidates to continue to like want to work here. A lot of people don't want to like commit to like a job for more than like a year, and it's so interesting to me because I try to build and develop a team that, you know, we work together and grow together for a really long time. Creates a better workplace culture than knowing that you're just gonna get up and get going. So cool. I'm gonna check out for right now, but we will check back in a little bit when more progress gets going on this. All right, so I got the go from Brandon that we're gonna go ahead and turn on the breaker. So we have to go into this scary abyss and turn on the breaker. So in case the power, in case something burns down, it's gonna be me. I have this labeled as 8.7 volt, so we will have to update it. So we're gonna go ahead, flick the breaker on, kind of go over here, see if everything's good to go. Thoughts and prayers. Okay, there he goes. I don't know. No, there's no, oh yeah, there's power, yay! Okay, so nothing caught on fire, so that's always good. What are you clicking on? Oh, assign ink color. Oh, okay. I didn't even know you could go in and like change that. So that would also probably be if you're printing like CYMK and stuff like that. Yeah. If you're saving jobs. Okay. This is a lot of heads, y'all. This is our biggest machine to date, so I'm very excited. It's a lot of opportunity of cool add-ons, because that's what really my goal is for this, is to start using, you know, the roller squeegee, start using maybe the mobile forge, start looking into the cooling fans. We don't really want to print more colors. We really want to be able to add specialty effects and doing that on press versus having to print and then go to heat press or go and do something alternatively. Trying to save time, reduce touches, be more effective. I gotta secretly, look at this is my Wi-Fi, y'all. Is that not hilarious? I love my Wi-Fi, it's great. So I gotta log into this. We'll be back. Okay, so you do connect to your Wi-Fi, you pick which one, which we went ahead and put all the machines on the same one, so all of them are logged into the same Wi-Fi. You gotta log in. I just realized that the keyboard is right here because I kept touching here like 15 times and couldn't remember, but the keyboard is down here. That way y'all are aware because I forgot. Okay, after like me stressing about it wasn't connecting for some reason, but I think it was just internet error and not so much my error. You go ahead and you obviously the touch screen is iffy because the plastic is on there. We don't want to connect to a different, I'm taking this off, I hate this. We don't want to connect to a different network. It shows that you're connected now. What the heck? Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's thinking about it. Machine settings, nope, sorry. Main menu. Advanced settings, Wi-Fi. It says I'm connected, so I'm pretty sure I'm connected. Yes, there's a little check mark. That means we are good to go. We don't have to worry about being connected to anything anymore. Being connected to the Wi-Fi is super important, so then that way you're able to get updates if they have them. You can also send reports to yourself. There's a lot of different interesting things that you need. Here is like where you need to do your touchscreen calibration if needed. They do send you a pen, so you can use the pen if you want to not touch this with your hands. This is where you send like your email notifications. Let's just set this one up so we can kind of show y'all how easy it is. Sales. Oh, I'm silly. It's hard to film and think about this. No, we do not want capitals. We have a long freaking email. cultureapparelstudio.com. Cool, enter. That's where, like, if I wanted to send, like, let's just say we had multiple managers with different email addresses, which we don't, so we're just going to use that one. This is where you change from degrees in Celsius. We don't want degrees in Celsius. This constantly changes for us. I don't know why, but it's very frustrating. We just wanted to stay in Fahrenheit for us. I get it, other countries use Celsius. Moving out shuttle flash, I don't even know what that means. I'm very curious. I'm gonna have to go do some research on what that is. User management, if you wanted to have different users, let's say you had multiple printers, right? And let's just say Maria, you could add Consuelo, and then their specific jobs to them would actually be saved. We always just use admin because we kind of use a different cataloging method than saving in here. There's like obviously your heads. Talked about they're all on right now. He's getting everything all like set up. It's pretty cool. There's like some basic stuff. You probably would actually want this on. I think we have it on. I'll have to go compare to our other Volt and see what we have on or not, but I'm gonna stop messing with it because he's still in the middle of setting it all up. But look at that. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 across the board. So super excited. So yep, he still has, you know, a lot of things to button up, but what you can see, there's power to all the heads, there's no head failures, everything looks to be in really great working order, so that's good. He's got to get the casing back on there. You know, these are all the protective covers to make sure that the electronics don't get damaged or anything like that, so I think we're in the clear for now. Alright, so it's a few minutes after 8. My work day is over. It's been quiet in the shop for a little bit, but I didn't really get to make it back out here too much today. I have been working with the heat press and trying to problem solve some other issues we've been having lately. Getting more organized is actually a problem within itself. So I'm gonna turn you guys around a little bit. Yeah, let me turn you all around. So today's installation, which is my third installation process, I've had a different technician every single install. And honestly, so far, I feel like this has truthfully been my most critiqued and like intensive installation. Like, so before, I think the install took like 4 or 5 days, but one whole day of that is usually like uncrating. And then they built the press, and then honestly, I'm gonna have to like go back into my videos and like re-look at it. So today's installation, which is my third installation process, I've had a different technician every single install. And honestly, so far, I feel like this has truthfully been my most critiqued and like intensive installation. Like, so before, I think the install took like 4 or 5 days, but one whole day of that is usually like uncrating. And then they built the press, and then honestly, I'm gonna have to like go back into my videos and like re-look at it. But honestly, I feel like the amount of setup that is being done on this Volt was never done on my other 2 Volts. And so now I'm like truthfully questioning a lot of stuff in regards to my other Volts. But I will say that if you get your press installed by Brandon, he has been amazing today. Well, this whole week. He's only been here 2 days. So this is the end of second day install. he had a bunch of like measurements up here, and I want to say it was the distance from here to here or something along those lines. He looked like he completely knew what he was doing, and now you can see that there is measurement on each of the pallets, and I do believe that he's doing that to ensure that each head is also being aligned with the pallet as well. So again, like, sure, I wasn't hovering over anyone, but the amount of detail and patience that he has truthfully had with this install has been amazing. I would recommend him. I don't know if you're able to recommend who you get as your technician or not, but so far he's been a joy. Here on like head 1, you can see he has literally the flood bar dialed in, the pallet dialed in, you know, pressure, I guess, they're dialed in. Like, I mean, this is very impressive. He did ask us, like, do we always like push our screens to the side? Probably if we were to run like a certain setup system, like a certain registration system, but we actually just use our own and we use the pallet. We always burn the screen, you know, as central as possible with our, but yeah, when you actually like look at the machine, it looks exactly how it looked earlier this morning, pretty much when I started the video. But you can absolutely tell just the patience and the amount of detail. Also, it was my fault completely, but I, for some reason, thought my base was 3-phase because the other volt that was here, because my smaller volt was here, I guess it's actually single phase, and I thought it was because it was pulling too much amps why we were running 3-phase a lot, but actually it was because we don't have enough room in our breaker boxes. We have literally 3 breaker boxes here, and somehow we don't, the power in the building is extremely old. But anyways, so he did have to rewire that to go to single phase. So the base is single phase, this is 3-phase, the other flash will be 3-phase. They haven't even brought in the flashes yet, but I'm sure, oh yes, he's gonna be here at 8:30 tomorrow morning. I'm sure, you know, a lot of little things are gonna get buttoned up and knocked out. As originally discussed, I said we were gonna maybe like move the machine after, you know, whenever everything's said and done, and because the pallet to here is just way too close, you know, you can already tell. I mean, I think, unless someone's going to be real skinny like my size. I mean, it's just too close. I truthfully think it is. We'll find out shortly, but he's been going super in depth on this thing. Everything looks great. He has kept everything super clean, so I'm really, really grateful for this experience so far. I almost will want to send him back to my facility to redo this one. This is our first volt, and it was just set up, I believe, like 2 years ago, but we find ourselves, like, look at this. Like, this is head 1, but you can see that we've had to move, you know, this piece all the way out to accommodate, and then like look how far this one is, you know, like we've had to actually shift everything over, like, because I'm honestly, I don't remember anybody asking us any information about where do we put our screens or anything like that. But even like this is head 3, you can kind of tell it's not dead set actually come to the pallet. So this today was like a whole realization that, hey, we could actually set up our press more accommodating to us. And I might see if he could probably stay longer. Maybe he could get that settled in. Maybe I could pay for that. We'll figure that out. And that brings us even to my second volt that I had installed, which right now we still have sleeve pallets on here, but it is locked. I mean, even looking at this one, it's definitely better than the other one. Rest assured. Like, look how central that is. Let's just go over this one real quick. Yeah. I mean, this one's out a little far, but what head is this? This is head 3. So we don't really use this head very much on the smaller flash, just because of out of habit, really. So yeah, I'm super curious because whenever I asked him to level this, he asked me if we moved anything else, which the truth is we didn't. We literally moved the whole press as a whole. But I don't know. I feel the amount of time that he has truthfully spent on analyzing and critiquing the placement of the press he's building for us, I'm very impressed. So I will revisit that tomorrow and maybe talk to him or call Anatol and see if we can use his services additionally while he's here. Other than that, I'm sweaty. It has not rained in Houston and it feels like 100 days, but it hasn't been that long. But we're on a drought patrol right now, or like patrol. I don't know, like a drought control. Like, I don't know if people are gonna like arrest me if I decide to go water my lawn tonight or not, but we are supposed to be like try not to use extra water. So I really do hope that it rains soon. This has also been our smoothest install because even our last install, the power kept going out and it was like a nightmare and it was raining so much, and just I'm grateful that everything's going so smoothly. Cool. Well, I'm gonna check in with him tomorrow when I decide to get here, and I'm out of here for today. So it is the afternoon of Friday. So the technician's been here for 4 days. I didn't record anything yesterday, mostly because visually you couldn't really tell anything had changed in regards to the press. Mostly because he was aligning all the heads. So not only was he aligning the heads to the pallet, just making sure everything was bolted down. I kind of talked about like the flood bar and the positioning, and then he had to level all the pallets to the heads as well. So not only are you aligning straight, you're also leveling, and that is all super important because even now that we've moved some of our presses over time, or even like our other volt that we've had, the very first volt that we've had the longest, we've noticed that there has been print inconsistencies, and where certain pallets won't print, or not really won't print, sorry, let me rephrase that. It's just the ink isn't being pushed through the mesh appropriately, like with good consistent pressure, or we may have to run extra pressure on one side versus the other. So while the technician was already here, and since we've moved all of our presses and everything like that, originally I had talked about leveling our small volt that we moved over there across the building. But now he's actually leveling it as well. But this is finally all the way done, up and running. It is Friday morning. It's good to go. Both flashes are installed. No issues. Consuelo is immediately already going to print. I believe we're going to print just a 2-color job, which obviously we can print way more colors, but we really just need to get back up into production because we have been struggling so much functioning off of just one press. So I'm going to turn y'all around, kind of do a showcase of the press all completed, and then we're going to also go over to our other smaller volt. So right now we have our head 1 right here, our flash is all the way over here, and something kind of interesting I had already noticed in regards to this flash being so close to the dryer, unfortunately. Look at the register, oh my goodness, I cannot talk. The registering temperature that this flash unit is already hitting, which is flash 1, but we have it labeled as flash 2, even with the fan right there. Like, it's pretty crazy. So over here, we change this to temp sensor. You can see the dramatic shift of temperature, 78 degrees all the way to 132. And it's only really accounting for probably the stagnant air that's right here in this vicinity by this dryer. So like that was immediately like really eye-opening for me, to realize like how hot it actually is really close to this older dryer. Our dryer is really pretty old. We are still running an M&R Sprint, looking to hopefully upgrade to an Anatol at some point, but mostly because we really need a reduction in heat. Like, this is just too much heat coming off right here. So that means this area already naturally, head 1 and head 2, potentially even head 3, is always going to be much warmer than, it's a little far away, but it's always going to be potentially warmer than all these other heads. So you guys can kind of see. I'm gonna step back over here. We chose for right now to put the flash on number 9. Just in the time being, we already feel like we're gonna end up moving it over here to 8, but we actually end up moving this flash on this volt pretty regularly anyways, so we're already pretty accustomed to having to move flash units around. And since she's the only one printing right now, she's just gonna go ahead and set up and everything all on head 11 and head 1. So they're gonna get started on that. Maria is over here also printing a 2-color job, so head 1, and then since we always keep heads up usually on the other press, we are running 2 whites. We are skipping, so then that way it obviously has plenty of time to cool, especially right now because it is like almost, you know, working towards the hottest part of the day. So running 2 whites and then coming over here to our red. And as always mentioned, we use ELTS white from 1 stroke, and we've also transitioned to this red as our main red as well with 1 stroke. We're slowly transitioning our core colors to them. And then as mentioned, he's over here leveling the pallets. So he's already going to town working on that. And again, as mentioned, he did already level the base, but he did that for us a couple days ago. We went ahead and printed 2 or 3 jobs on this press that were not requiring flash, just like 1-color jobs that were like darker color, which I feel like nowadays everything we print is white, but you can kind of see lots of precision goes into this. So he's taking his time and doing a really good job, and that is what is important because we already know we're not going to move this press anymore. So probably I think he's also going to do this one, but we'll see how the day plays out. He's supposed to be flying back. And so we already went ahead and started printing a few jobs on this. You can tell that the palette paper wasn't installed very good, but it's because first thing on Monday we're going to do the decals for this press, and I'm gonna actually go ahead and do a video for that as well to kind of explain our registration system, why we put it underneath the palette paper, and how it just kind of helps us be a little bit more efficient. I also am going to put panels on this wall, so probably even within like the next video y'all see, this is gonna be totally different. But I couldn't be more happier. My service with Brandon and my install process with Brandon has been absolutely phenomenal. Very quiet guy, but extremely pleasant to work with. I would 12 out of 10 recommend. You can see that just for today, it's how we put on the registration just to print. We just got so far behind. Like, we're just unfortunately extremely behind. There's stuff just absolutely everywhere and piled up. Finally busting open all these boxes, trying to get everything settled in for tomorrow. We're going to be printing pockets on this, and then we're going to be printing backs on the other press. In order for our day to run very efficiently, we'll have 1 person doing pockets here. There'll be a puller and a loader over there for backs because backs take longer to print, so it's definitely more efficient with 2 people working. Typically it's Saturday and we don't normally work Saturdays, and then we'll also have a catcher. So we have a whole time ahead of us. So I think this is it. This is the end. I'll catch you all next time. Bye.